Woke up this morning, I didn't know I was going to call this press conference. So my heart goes out for everyone that's listening to this message, but particularly for the families and the members affected by this very intimately. So the student who was tragically shot has passed away. The student is deceased. The method by which we will give more details about that individual, there's a process there, so I won't go into details about that, but I needed you to know we are dealing with a death. Bear with me as I get through this, because as a Seattle Public School student, students can't learn or develop or grow to be the best versions of themselves when they have to fear for their life. Our schools have to be the highest safe havens for our youth, for our teachers, for our families. The tragedy impacts not just the family and the students and the faculty and administrators and everyone at Ingraham High School, but threatens the essential trust, that social contract, if you will, that we have with all of our communities. As a parent of Seattle Public School students, and as a Seattle Public School student themselves, I don't even recall these kinds of situations when I was a kid. The times have changed. You'll hear from Chief Diaz, who will be able to give some factual information that happened this morning. You'll hear from our superintendent, Dr. Jones, to give us a few words as the superintendent of the public schools. He may be able to stay right after, but he also may have to leave because there's some logistical matters that he may have to attend to, so he's monitoring his communications. And then we'll hear from our Congresswoman, Pramila Jayapal, who, as always, is here in moments of need for families and in our community here in times of need, showing our leadership and our friendship. And I want to thank the Congresswoman for being here. So you hear from that order, and then of course we'll open up for Q&A. Let me close before I introduce the Chief by saying a few simple thoughts. I can't reiterate enough to everyone that listens that our primary responsibility is to keep people safe. This should be a unifying element in our city. It doesn't know a race or a demographic, an age, just safety. Our policies, our technology, our implementation, our culture has to be rooted in our desire to keep everyone safe. Since taking office, I've done more than 10 events at our Seattle Public Schools, whether it's talking to the kids or reading to the kids or attending an athletic event. And their joy is sort of what motivates me to be mayor, looking at their smiling faces. We know they're not smiling right now at Ingraham. And so as we continue to investigate and examine this tragic situation, it will be rooted in that universal value that I led with, is our need to keep everyone safe. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chief Adrian Diaz to share a few remarks and some information about what happened today. Chief Diaz.
As I mentioned before, we're a growing number of cities this year that have experienced a school shooting. And it's not what we wanted to hear. When one young man or young person can pick up a gun and shoot another young person, there's a problem. And I see plenty of people in this room that have dedicated their lives to try and make sure that they save lives. And they are saving lives. We all know that we can do more. When we experience a shooting like this at 9:55, when officers were responding out to shootings or shots fired inside a school, we arrived within 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And within 4 minutes, we had a contact team already going in the school and trying to provide CPR to the victim. With another minute later, fire department was called in as well. So within 10 minutes of the initial call, the fire department was going in to treat. That's amazing. So I want to say such a huge thank you to all the firefighters and officers that went to respond to the scene to handle this tragedy, that are going out and making contact teams, putting their life on the line to try and make sure that that school was safe. And like the mayor said, it's a problem when people go to school hoping that they're going to be safe so they can learn, and we have a shooting. An hour later, we were able to take the suspect into custody. Our harbor officers, because we had every officer in our department responding to this scene, our harbor officers actually located the suspect and took him into custody with King County Sheriff's Department. And we actually recovered a firearm. We don't know if that firearm is the one that was the firearm that was used in the school, but we did recover a firearm. This year we've recovered over 1,000 firearms. 1,000 firearms, and that is unheard of. We actually, even though we've been short-staffed, we were recovering more firearms this year than when we had full staffing. We have a gun problem, and we have to figure out ways that we can figure out how to solve this issue. There are a lot of rumors, there are a lot of things that are coming out in social media about potential second suspects and all this kind of stuff. Right now, we cannot confirm any information. All we can say is that we are making sure that we interview every witness that we can find, that we identify all the reasons why this could have occurred, and then figuring out ways that we can prevent this from happening again. Because we do not want to continue to be part of a school or part of a city that has a young person picking up a gun and using it to hurt or harm others. We have two families that have been impacted. Somebody that is going to jail and somebody that has lost their life. So we know we can do better than this. And we know we asked for the community's assistance. We know that we need to make sure that we can support everybody in our community, that we can have our kids thrive. But it starts today.